Alright, so I think I have got this thing going live. So welcome everybody. What I'm going to try to do here, and we'll just have to see how this goes, I'm going to try to build a custom setup live on YouTube. So what we can do is you can see kind of what I start with, what adjustments I make, what I am looking for, how I fine-tune it. I'm going to try to do this for probably about an hour or so and see how far I get. I may get it done in an hour. I may still have some work to do. The starting point here is I just reset everything to like a default setup. And I am also experimenting a little bit here. So I want to try a little bit of a different setup philosophy than what I've done in the past. It seems to have worked on some other tracks, but we're going to try it here at Kentucky and see how it goes. Now I am going to do a little bit to help myself out at the beginning. Okay, I am going to look at my old Kentucky setups and kind of pull a few things from my existing Kentucky setup that I had, and I'm going to start with some of the bump and rebound settings, or at least kind of look at them and kind of get a reasonable approximation of where I think I'm going to wind up. I'm not going to start with anything all the way down at 3 because I just want to give myself a little bit of a room for adjustment either way. If I go all the way to 3 and then need to make an adjustment, there's no room to go because I'm already at the lowest setting I can get. And let's just kind of start with everything at about 5s. Okay. Now, one of the things I've been trying is a few things that are different than what I normally do is trying a pretty high front weight and trying really high wedge because the cup cars are loose. And then I almost always run my ride heights at 4 unless it is like a super speedway type thing or a really big track. If you run a super speedway, I adjust that front ride height up a little bit. Hey, Ace Petty's tuning in. I see Chicken Foot Racing. I want to max out my front and rear springs at most 1.5 miles. That's what I'm trying to do. And again, there's a couple of things that are different in my normal setup philosophy, but it seems to have been working and yielding some pretty fast setups that worked real well in the long run. I used to always run the left rear spring a little bit softer than the right, usually at about 500 pounds, but I'm going to try maxing it out as well. I'm going to leave the tire pressures alone for right now. I'm going to go up a little bit on the camber. Okay, I'm going to go up. I'm going to try a 3 and like a 3-2, kind of keep it in the same proportion. Here's the other part that's really different. I'm going to run as stiff of a front sway bar as I possibly can. Now that doesn't mean it's maxed out, that's just as stiff as I can make it and still drive the car. If the front sway bar gets too stiff, what's going to happen is it's just going to vibrate and you're going to see the car wobble on the screen and you'll either feel your wheel or controller just shake violently, kind of. So I want to run the stiffest front sway bar that I can and still have the car drivable. I want to try to max out the track bars, but I may have to back off on this, but these two kind of go together. To run track bars this high, you got to run a really stiff front sway bar. And I'm going to go way down on the wheel lock. I usually run like a 10 or 12. I'm going to start with like a 5. The wheel lock is how, when you turn the wheel all the way left, that determines how far left the wheels are turning. So a lower wheel lock means when you've got your wheel turned all the way left, the wheels, maybe instead of turning 45 degrees to the left, maybe they're only turning 30 degrees. It's meaning the wheels just physically won't turn as far left. I'm bringing my steering offset down to a little bit more of a normal thing, and I am going to borrow the gears from my old Kentucky setup as a starting point, and I think I was running a 3.4 in those. And I will tell you, one thing I do is I keep all my setups in a spreadsheet, and then I will update the spreadsheet as I update the setups. But if you have, whether it's in a notebook or whether you keep it on a computer in like an Excel spreadsheet, keeping your setups so you can refer back to them if you want to change something is a huge help. Okay, so this is something to start with, and we will kind of see how this goes. I may be terribly, terribly off base here, but we're just going to have to run it and see.
Okay, get back in there.
My best, as you can see, is a 30.54, and we'll kind of see how we do here. I never felt like I was very good at Kentucky. Finally figure this place out, or I may be a disaster. Okay, first thing I'm noticing is you'll notice the car is stable. It's not wobbling like crazy, and I'm not getting a lot of vibration in the steering wheel. That means I'm doing okay with this front sway bar the way it is. Let's see what it's like. Feels a little bit stiff, but we're okay. Feels stiff there, but I think it's not extremely stiff, and we'll have to see what this is like on a long run. I'm testing this thing at 4 times wear for the simple reason that I like to make a full fuel run on the setups, but I don't want to have to sit here and make 30 or 60 laps or something to get a full fuel run in it. So to kind of give you guys an idea of what I am looking at here, I am looking for the overall feel of the car, and I'm looking for it to be kind of tight here at the beginning because the car usually loosens up as the run goes on. I'm kind of looking to see if, even though it's extremely early in the run, what the tire temps look like. I'm also watching my oil temperature that's hitting about just almost 240. And I'm seeing how the car drives. I'm a little skeptical of what I've got here. It feels comfortable, but a lot of times if it is comfortable early in the run, it's going to be sideways loose later in the run because it'll get looser. And I'm watching the tire wear is pretty even, which is good. I am feeling like I need to go to a shorter gear. I feel like I'm a little sluggish off the corner, and at the end of the straightaway, I am maybe not getting as many RPMs as I would like. Like I'm kind of. See, let's see how close I get to 9,000 RPMs at the end of this straightaway. I don't think I get that close. See, I'm kind of at 8,500 and kind of stalling out. Maybe I get to 86 or 8,700. I think I could do a little better with a shorter gear. And I like to use the term shorter gear or longer gear because people understand that better. When I go from like a 3.4 to like a 3.5, people think that's a higher gear. It's really a lower gear. And I won't get into the explanation of gear terminology, but so few people use the right terminology between lower and higher gears. I usually call them just shorter gears and longer gears because people can understand that better. But going from a 3.4 to a 3.5 is actually going to a lower gear. Okay, so I've got a little bit of data here. So let's try a 3.45. Now, that's kind of a big swing. There's a lot of gears between 3.40 and 3.45 that I can use if I use a 3-gear setup, and I may wind up there, but I don't want to sit here and go up an inch at a time. I'm going to take kind of a big swing at the gear and see what happens, and if it works, it works. But if it doesn't, if I'm still thinking that, you know, this gear's too short or too long and I need a shorter gear, I've at least moved up quite a bit, if that makes sense. I want to move up quite a bit instead of just move up a little at a time. All right, let's see what we got here.
You're clear of pit road.
And if anybody has any questions about this as we're going through it, feel free to put it in the text here. I see DRG has commented, love the setups. Appreciate the support, man. Appreciate it. Love the feedback. Love it that people try my stuff and like it. So we're up a little bit on tape, and we're up a little bit, or a shorter gear, a 345. So that shorter gear is going to make the engine run hotter. Between the shorter gear and going up on the tape, I want to see if the engine gets too hot. Now, what I deem too hot is low 250s is as high as I want to go. It just seems like the engine loses just a little bit of power if I get above like low 250s.
Wow, that's fast.
Okay, now my best lap here is a 30.54, and I don't think there's a lot of draft at Kentucky, so I'm hoping I can come up with a setup that will beat a 30.54 and will also work well long run. I think I'm overshooting that corner a little bit.
That was a better lap.
So I'm stuck at 30.8s, but I also think I am not necessarily hitting my line real crisp. Okay, I'm 248. I may do a full fuel run here because if it stays tight the whole way through, then I know I can try to loosen it up a little bit.
Getting better.
So it looked like that time I was probably, I'm saying, about 8,800 RPMs at the end of the front straight, which is not a bad place to be at all. Overshot that turn just a hair. Yeah, I am actually going to take a break here just for a second, so bear with me. I need to check some statistics here on the stream to make sure it's not lagging on the internet or anything like that. And I actually am going to go out and share this in a couple of Facebook groups real quick. So I'm just going to paste that into an earlier post that I made. So this will take me just a second. I will not keep you guys waiting while I am trying to post this stuff out there. It will take me just another minute or two and we will get back to the setup. I'm surprised I've kind of made the progress I made on this setup this early. We'll see how this goes. Sometimes you feel like you're doing really well, and then you can spend hours trying to find the last couple of tenths of speed. Okay, one more to put out here, and then I will get back at it. Okay, so let's get back to the test session here. Okay, so I think I am, well, I'm not quite halfway through this run here, and it is not showing any sign of getting loose on me. It actually still feels like it's a little bit on the tight side. So I may be able to loosen this thing up a little bit. I'm liking where the oil temperature is. I'm liking the fact that I am about even on tire wear. I'm looking at those tire temps. The tire temps are not bad at all. I am 240 roughly is the middle temp on the right front, and I don't even think I'm hitting 230 on the right rear. I always feel like temperature is a result of friction, and friction is because your tires are slipping, and friction causes wear. So the fact that I'm not seeing real high tire temps probably means that we're not slipping a whole lot, which is a good thing. I'm also wondering though if I could gain some speed by bumping those tire pressures up quite a bit. Okay, now I got down there below that little crease and the car didn't get real loose. It got a little loose, but not too bad. I think a fuel run on 4 times wear. I think that it's about 14 laps. I'm over halfway. We're not loose yet. That's a good sign. V for, and I apologize if I pronounced this name, V for VD. Thanks for tuning in. See, comment there. I think you were here last time when I was live. We're at Kentucky today, trying to build a custom cup setup. So 5 laps left here on this fuel run, and I'm not getting loose. Tire wear's even. This really doesn't feel bad, but I am like, my best lap is like 3/10 off of my personal record. So it's comfortable but kind of slow. So let's try to work on pushing this a little bit here when I get this done. But yeah, we're 3 laps to go in the fuel run, and now we're 2 laps. It's not loose at all. Okay, I'm noticing my fuel mileage appears to be pretty accurate, or pretty true. It seems like it's shifting from 3 to 2 and probably 2 to 1 here right at the exit of turn 2. So a full tank of gas, or if it says 14 laps, I can get 14 laps. Yeah, it just flipped to 1. I'm going to run this thing till it hits 0, but it's not loose at all. That's really good. Not loose at all, but kind of on the slow side, so we'll have to work on that here.
Bring it out pit road here. We're almost out of fuel.
Man, that thing just still feels like it is stuck to the track, but that may be because we're a little on the slow side. Okay, so let's try something. Okay, I want to try something real quick without any changes. I want to see what my speed at the start-finish line is with new tires. That's gonna, because I want to do that, then I'm going to go up on the air pressures. If going up on the air pressures is a benefit to me, I'll be able to tell real quick, because I'll immediately know, because I'll be faster at the line, at the start-finish line. Smith XNC tuning in. Hey brother, good to hear you. Good to have you in here. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, now I may not be all the way up to speed this lap, so let's see what we got. We're at 179, 180 at the line. Ooh. Let's do it one more lap, and I want to see my speed at the line. Then I'm going to go in and try bumping up my tire pressure, see if it does anything for my speed. I want to check my speed at the line, and I'm going to check my speed at the end of the straightaway. So there was 180 at the line. And then at the end of the straightaway, I'm flashing 188. Oh, thank you, Smith. Thank you, Smith XNC. By the way, guys, if anybody's tuning in here watching this, Smith XNC also has a YouTube channel. He does setups too. He's a great dude, very knowledgeable, great setups. I encourage people to find a setup and something that fits their driving style. And if check out Smith, he's got some great setups there. Great dude. If you like my setups, check his out. Some of his you might like better than mine. Some of mine you might like better than his. But Smith XNC has definitely got some great setups out here. He's one of my buddies online, so appreciate him tuning in. Appreciate the $5, bud. But check him out too, SmithXNC on YouTube. I'll see if I can post a link here in the chat so you guys can check out his channel as well. But before I lose my train of thought, let's try changing up our tire pressures. I'm going to go up to like 58 and 57, okay? So I'm going to go up 58 and I'm going to go up 57. So I'm going up 8 pounds here. And so do a little math here. The left side pressures were about 40% of what the right sides are. So if I went up 8 pounds on the right, I'd take 40% of 8 and go up that much on the left. So 40% of 8 is 3.2, so let's say 3.25. So I'm going to try 25.25 and 25. Now, usually when you go up on the tire pressures like this and up proportionately, it will make the car a little bit tighter. See who else we got in here. Captain America, I think Andrew Ross here, and Mike Lowe says use my setups religiously. Thank you, man. Thank you guys for the support. So I am searching for speed here. The car is pretty comfortable, but I am about 3/10 off what my personal record is, and I want to build a setup that can kind of do at least as well as my personal record, and hopefully be maybe a hair better on the long run. So I'm searching for speed here, man. Okay, so that was basically the same speed there at the line, and I'm still flashing 180 at the end of the stretch. So I don't know that I gained a lot by taking that thing, those tire pressures up. Still feel like I need a different gear. Still feel like I'm a little sluggish coming off the corner. Okay, now I was 181 there, and I picked up, so look at this, I've picked up a whole 1/10 of speed. I went from an 822 to a 703 just by going up in tire pressure. So on a 1.5 miles, usually you can bump the tire pressures up from the defaults to where you're up in the between 55 and 60 depending on the track, and gain some speed. So right there you can see what it did. The only change I made was that change in tire pressure, and we gained a 1/10 of speed. So if you're working on setups, and this is something that you can do in a preset too, is if you are on a 1.5 miles, and there is a ton of those, if you're on a 1.5 miles and there is a ton of 1.5 miles out there, you can go and bump those right side tire pressures up and then the lefts accordingly, and you'll usually pick up some speed right away. And bear with me just a second. I want to find my friend SmithXNC, and I'm going to post a link to his YouTube channel in the chat here. He is a good dude, has some great setups. Always enjoy being around him, seeing what he has to say on his videos and stuff. And yeah, we both do setups, but that doesn't mean we got to necessarily compete with each other or can't be friends or stuff. He is just a quality dude. But there in the chat, if I put it in there right, maybe I didn't get it in there right. There is a link to SmithXNC. That's his channel, so check him out. He's got some setups too, and I will tell you, there's more than one way to skin a cat. He and I, it seems like, have a lot of different setup philosophies. His setups may look very different than mine, but you might find out that you're running the same speed. It's just a different setup style, and it might suit a different driving style. So if you're not liking what you're getting out of some of my stuff, or you say this track just didn't work for me, by all means check him out. Might suit your driving style to a T, but good dude with some good setups. So it didn't get loose on me in the long run. So the next thing I'm going to try is I'm going to try to loosen it up a little bit. And so the easiest thing to do here is let's go down on that sway bar and let's see what we get. The sway bar is a big swing, okay? The sway bar is a big swing, so if you are changing that sway bar, that is taking a big swing. That'll take a car from tight to loose in a hurry. And I'm trying to keep up with the chat here while I am doing this, so... And Smith, I am a sub of your channel. I don't know if I was before or not, but I just checked it to make sure I am. Okay, so let's try... Actually, you know what? Return to the garage. I felt like I was still a little bit sluggish. We're going to push the gearing a little bit more. And I'm going to try 3.5 and see what we get. Got some more people tuning in.
Okay, get back in there. Let's go.
Code, I can't read it while I'm driving, but Code something commented here. Appreciate you making these videos. Helps your league races. Keep it up. So, hey, no problem. I have fun doing this. I'm glad it helps people. But I usually have fun. Sometimes I get real frustrated because I just can't get the things figured out. But usually I have fun doing this. Okay, so we went down on the sway bar. We're at a 1.675 sway bar. I am afraid that this is going to swing the pendulum a little bit too far and it's going to get loose on me, but we'll try it and see. I'm still searching for a couple of tenths of speed here. Boy, it just turns better, that is for sure. Now I changed that gearing, so I got to watch my oil temperature here. It felt like it was almost loose getting into the corner a little bit there. That's not a good sign for running this thing the full run. Okay, I pushed the car a little harder that time. Through 1 and 2, I really didn't get all the way out of the throttle. And maybe that's where I am missing some of this speed. But the car is also a little on the tight side before, so I didn't feel like I could really push it real hard. I think I'm overdriving 3 and 4. I'm really washing up the track, but that's the driver, not the setup. So I feel like I could get a little more aggressive on the camber up front, which would help it turn a little bit. So I want to, if you're watching, pay attention to those front tire temps. Look at the gap between the left temperature and the middle. So it is probably give or take about a 25 or 30 degree gap. Those tires will get hotter in the corner, but it's still about a 25 or so degree gap on the right side. And on the left side, I think it's probably a 5 to 10. What I'm going to do, and we're going to adjust the camber. So if I get more aggressive on the camber, that's going to tilt the tires more to the left, and that's going to try to even out those temperatures a little bit. Okay, so and normally you run more on the left side than the right, but the default at Kentucky is the other way around, so I'm probably going to kind of keep that proportion the same and see what we got. Let's see what we got with this. So now, as I get into the run, watch those tire temperatures. And I think look at them at about probably 5 laps in and see what we got. So I'm looking here, making sure that my internet's holding up. AJ Appeal, my friend from Racing Refresh, tuning in here. And Simoleons, my racing partner, my broadcast partner, my brother. I got to give a plug to AJ Appeal here. AJ hosts a racing podcast called Racing Refresh every Friday at 9 o'clock. It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook. Check him out. He and a couple of buddies, Tyler and Logan, put that together, and it is entertaining and it is informative. You won't find 3 guys more knowledgeable about NASCAR than Logan, AJ, and Tyler. So check them out. Racing Refresh. Hit their YouTube channel, give it a like, follow them on Facebook. Really good dudes, very knowledgeable and very entertaining. Every Friday at 9 o'clock they do a podcast. Check them out. It's entertaining. It really is, and they are good dudes, and they know a lot about NASCAR. They cover other forms of racing, but mainly NASCAR. But I got to give a plug to my buddy AJ, and thank you for tuning in. Okay, now I was talking and all over the place and still hit an 855. This thing is feeling like it might be a little loose on entry. AJ, if you're watching, why don't you post a link to the Facebook page, the website, the YouTube channel, all that good stuff. Why don't you post a link to that stuff out there in the chat so everybody can tune in and follow it? I would do it for you, but I kind of got my hands full at the moment.